2025 has been kind of a wild year for EDH. We've got vehicles in the command zone, we've got to return to Tarkir, we've escaped to the one place that hasn't been corrupted by capitalism,
Space!
we got two pretty great Universes Beyond sets, we've got Spider-Man, and it all kicked off with the Magic Multiverse's equivalent of NASCAR. Well, Innistrad Remastered came first, but that was a reprint set, so I'm not going to count it. All in all, there are about 1,900 new cards that were printed this year, and since Avatar is the last set we're going to get for 2025, I thought it'd be a good time to talk about some of my favorite cards that got released this year. I'm going to start off by talking about the 5 legendary creatures that kind of stood out to me this year. The first I'd like to talk about is Felithar the Steadfast. She's a 0/5 for 1, a white, a black, and a green. That's basically a power crept Doran siege tower. Basically meaning she allows your creatures to deal combat damage equal to their toughness instead of their power. She also happens to feel a little bit like an Abzan version of Arcades the Strategist, in that she allows your creatures with Defender to attack. But wait, there's more. She also happens to be card draw in the command zone. By paying 3, tapping her, and sacrificing another creature, you get to draw cards equal to that creature's toughness, and discard cards equal to its power. I'm currently running her as a secret commander with a secret partner in Tetsuko Umezawa, mostly just because the creatures I wanted to beat face with were Charix, the Raging Isle, and Council of 4. And the fact that Tetsuko can make them unblockable is really funny to me. The next legendary creature I'd like to talk about is Black Waltz number 3. A Rakdos Spellslinger payoff that deals 2 damage to each opponent every time you cast a non-creature spell. Between Final Fantasy IX being one of my favorite games of all time, and Black Mage being probably my favorite fixture of the Final Fantasy franchise just overall, this card was pretty much a slam dunk for me, aesthetically and mechanically. Especially since Vivi is kind of priced beyond what I'm willing to spend. And since Black Waltz number 3 is an uncommon, I can run it as a Pauper Commander if I want to. Which I very well might. I've been thinking more and more about getting into Pauper Commander, or PDH for short. Since he's also legendary, I'd be able to run him in both PDH and regular EDH pods. And with his actual ability being what it is, I think he would be an excellent fit in both formats. There's also Toph the Blind Bandit, who is a commander I've already made a video on. But the short version is, shortly after she got spoiled, I accidentally discovered that ETB Earthbending combos with a Shaya and a Sack Outlet. And the combo is completely composed of cards that are good for the commander anyway. So you don't really have to completely dedicate yourself to the combo. You can kind of just have it as a backup plan if you really want to. Okay, this next one is incredibly specific and I really need you to hear me out on this one. Calaxian, Hunger Tyrant. 3 mana 7/2 is pretty obvious choice to Voltron up, but I have a different idea. Dragon Throne of Tarkir as a hidden commander, reverse Voltron. I'd basically be giving my team +7/+7 and trample every turn, so I could realistically go with a whole board of dinky little Death Touchers, or I could do Infect. Either way, I think it sounds fun, and worst case, he can take out somebody in 3 hits. This next one is a deck I've actually built and have had a blast with. Teval Arbiter of Virtue is easily my favorite commander of the year. For 2, a blue, a black, and a green, you get a 6/6 flying life-linking dragon that gives your spells Delve in exchange for costing you life equal to the mana value of the spell. There's a few ways to build this, usually with self-mill as a base. You could do Reanimator, X-Spells, Artifacts, Eldrazi, Combo, or Spellslinger, which is the direction I decided to go. Specifically, I built mine around Flashback, which has been surprisingly powerful, especially when I have Platinum Empyrean on the battlefield. I'll have the deck list in the description below if you're interested in checking it out. There are also some cards that caught my eye this year that weren't commanders. One of my favorites being Champions from Beyond, which is an enchantment for 2 white and X mana that creates X 1/1 hero tokens when it enters. When you attack with 4 creatures, you scry 2 and draw. If you attack with 8 or more creatures, they get +4/+4 until end of turn. This is just great repeatable card draw in an aggressive white deck that also doubles as a super anthem if you go wide enough. I also love how every non-legendary card that depicts Final Fantasy XIV is obviously someone's actual Warrior of Light from that game. Glacier Wood Siege is a super useful card for any graveyard deck you can throw it in. It's an enchantment for 1, a blue and a green that makes you choose Teamer or Sultai. Teamer lets you have target player mill 4 cards every time you cast an instant or sorcery, while picking Sultai lets you play lands from your graveyard. I also find it kind of ironic that for my particular Sultai deck, picking Teamer is the better option of the two. Lastly, Spectacular Pileup is a board wipe that can destroy indestructible creatures and vehicles for 3 and 2 white that you can also cycle away for 2 if you really need to. It's a generally good card and not really much to talk about, but I love that I can wipe out every god in Theros with a car crash. Thanks for watching! What are your favorite cards of the year? Let me know down in the comments below, and as always, safe travels!